before I join our live stream.
All right, let's go live real quick. No dilly-dallying, SSR says. We're 3 minutes in. That's good.
Because I unlocked my screen. It's like, hey, update now. And I'm like, no, and it just did it anyway. So I was like, all right, cool. So.
Okay. Brent, we need to make sure we have ours.
Yeah. It was not
I'll
part
get
of
our
the deal.
third lined up.
Oh, okay. We keep
Those
doing
can
it.
be like 20 minutes sometimes.
We keep doing it until we get it, and then we decide.
I don't know. Do we even care about the Twitch affiliation stuff
Yeah, but
anymore?
by then we can decide. So.
Is it a legit goal? So at least drive for it until we knock it out, and then.
And then after you get it, but like, I'm so glad we did it.
It's easy to say we don't want it or need it when we can't get it.
The only thing we never regretted and went back on was...
Who would use that? Who would play those games?
Facebook.
Yeah.
Or Buttface. Facebook.
Facebook.
I mean, all we're doing is logging in.
That's what I was
like we're
thinking,
doing
like,
anything
sometimes
extra.
the chase.
I mean, if you had me at, like... I don't know, man. It's up to you. You do more work on your end. I mean, if it's like a lot more work...
Results not even... We just have to stream like 7 days a week over that 30-day course. We need to stream at least one hour session on every day. Not every single day, concurrently,
man.
but within that 30
days. I got
days.
a shit ton of PC games. I guess I can fucking just
So it could
on
be
there
like one
stream.
Sunday a month, one Monday a month, one Tuesday a month. We knock out the Wednesday.
I play too many story-based games.
So just turn it on. Even if you're doing one of your bullshit things, just cut it on. Or
it's me the whole time.
Just stream it. You don't even have to interact. Just have it on, and I'll follow, and Brent will pick it up, and I'll get somebody else. I don't know. I played the baseball and had a good time. I need to get... That was in July.
It was sometime after that.
Brent, when did you start? Do you remember?
It was like in the fall or some shit like that.
Yeah.
I moved in April.
I don't know, man. We took a couple weeks off in between there.
I think you've been around longer than you think, Brent.
I know Brant was with the
Cesar,
crew.
you were down.
Because all hell was breaking loose on
you
our
vacation.
You just had your surgery.
Oh, yeah. I was peeing in the plastic bag.
Yep.
Pissing in the plastic bag.
Yep. So Shannon and I recorded the actual episode. Pissing in a plastic bag would make...
I'm sorry, fellas. I'm still recovering. I had a horrible stomach bug Monday. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Better than the other bug.
That's not good. Both ends? I gotta know. Top end, bottom end, both ends?
It was to the point where like I couldn't even keep down water at one point Monday. Like it was
food poisoning?
Food poisoning or a stomach bug.
Oh god, you need to get that Pasta Max?
Jeez. Yeah, did you go to Pasta
No,
Max?
I didn't go to the Pasta Max.
We know you didn't go because we started recording and we would not have been able to even go live if you had been to Pasta Max. You would have had to tap out.
Yeah, Monday was a hell of a day. And I didn't even go to work yesterday. Today was my first day.
Are you doing okay? Better today? Just kind of weakish?
Yeah. Tuesday I was feeling better. I woke up and I was hungry, so I knew that was a good sign. But I didn't push it. I had like a couple handfuls of corn checks. And
I'm hungry, but I know what this stuff does to me. I don't want to go through another round.
I thought we were going to a fistful of dollars. I was like, what's happening here?
Fear.
Nah, then I had some chicken nuggets. And then for dinner I had some like buttered noodles and bread.
That's easy on the stomach.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm back. Did you go live yet? I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm back.
We got one viewer.
Yeah.
I haven't even got a notification.
Now I gotta update the app. What the fuck is happening?
Brent, you didn't get a notification?
Uh-oh.
So that's our mine must have updated last night because I had like 16 app updates today.
I don't know. I just logged in. My app has like, hey, and it's like on YouTube, and I'm watching some YouTuber, and it's still showing that stream, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's happening. And it's like, you got to update now. I'm in shambles when I'm looking at the thing. It's like, what? I don't remember doing any of this.
What the hell is going on?
I
don't know,
So sorry, your Sony back there is a 55 or 65?
Oh.
55. opted for the cheaper model.
65 is like living room, like my living room, I would imagine.
I don't even turn off the fucking TV. It's just fucking pitch black. My bad.
I cut on my plasma today, and it said, as soon as I turned it on, it was like auto shut off was engaged, and I'm like, how did this happen? I did not turn on this TV and leave it on. I never leave this machine on. Why would someone have left it on for 2 hours and not cut it off?
I mean, don't worry, man. I mean, at some point, OLEDs are gonna get so good that by then you'd be like, oh, it's time.
As soon as that CX55, as soon as that hits 1100-ish, I'm in. I've been given the approval. So that'll be my go price whenever it drops. I thought they were going to drop right after CES, but I haven't really seen that fallout that we usually see. And I didn't see any good Super Bowl deals either.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody's kind of working from home, so like the prices of TVs kind of went up, so they don't go on so often as they used to.
Right, it's that.
The demand's still there. You just gotta wait till like when jobs start venturing out more and people don't need TVs and all that shit's gonna drop. So,
and then
it's just a waiting game now.
And I won't be needing one as badly or thinking I need one as badly. What are you sipping on, Sar? Sorry, out of that cup.
Cold pressed coffee.
Is it good?
Yeah, that's kind of like my thing right now. I just drink cold pressed coffee. Just drink it black, no sugar, no cream.
You brew it yourself?
Absolutely not. I don't have that kind of 10-hour time.
No. Get one of those. We don't use it very often, but they make a Takea, I think is the brand. You can make your own cold brew. Just let it sit overnight, and it'll be ready the next day.
Then I gotta clean stuff, and then I gotta chill it, man. Nah, man. I don't know about that.
It ain't too bad.
He's lazy, man. He's not about that life.
I was like, I pay that $5 for that giant bottle. It's like a huge ass bottle. It was like $5 from like Kroger. I'm like $5 or like a couple hours of my time. $5.
$5 wins every time.
Yeah. Yeah, the only time that I cross that road is like, all right, should I teach myself how to work on car engines? Because I mean that cost offsets the labor at that point.
Oh, so. The true savings is to write yourself your own prescriptions. I found myself in CVS Tuesday looking at $1,300 for one prescription for 30 days that I've taken for like 6 years, and $975 for another one for 30 days for something I've taken for 6 years. That's with all coupons, with 2 insurances applied. I'm not pleased.
Might be time to move to another nation.
I'm ready at this point. I have to. My body's not going to sustain the American cycle.
And nothing wrong with the American cycle. Just you gotta go where your body lets you.
Part of the American cycle is leaving the cycle.
Yeah,
is getting out. We're trying to find solutions. It is what it is. It just sucks.
Yeah, you just play the hand you're dealt sometimes. I mean, when I had to take my medication before my surgery, it wasn't cheap. So. I mean, because I have issues like blepharitis with my eyes, and so like at some point when I went to there's a hydrochloric acid offshoot that's like 0.001% that I use to help open up the my molecular glands in my eyes that helps keep it the fluid flowing because it clogs up and it dries real bad. So like I found one thing that works because the regular way was you clean it with like baby shampoo and then. And then you just like hot compresses. Your eyelashes, basically. Eyelashes. Because your eyelashes clog. So the hydrochloric acid thing is you spray on your eyelashes and you wipe off. It's real simple. And it actually works. It's the only thing I've had this for like 6 or 7 years. And that's the only thing that actually works. And I don't feel pain anymore since I've been using it. At some point, all insurances stopped carrying it and they wanted to charge $300 a bottle. The bottle only lasts 15 days. So because it expires in 15 days because it's an active agent. So it's like I had to get 4 or 5. I think I had like 3 or 4 doctors have to approve it. Like my insurance wouldn't cover it. They're like, he doesn't need it. It's like they kept giving like use this over the counter.
I love that. I've been prescribed by
work.
a medical professional something. You have to. And the insurance is just like, nope, he doesn't need that.
Yeah, I think for me to get it the last time I got it, I used it was he had to write some kind of paper why I needed it and submit it to my insurance company, and then they can submit it to CVS and then they can approve
like
it.
A thesis.
So, yeah, basically. When I went to visit him for my last eye exam, he's like, man, they made me write a whole bunch of stuff, man. It's like, did you get it? I'm like, yeah, I got it. So I was like, he said it was crazy.
Exam.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, we're ready to hit the ground running. We're warmed up.
Sure.
It's 8:13.
I was just wondering if I was wondering if this was going to turn into a GoodRx commercial or something.
I would like for it to pivot to that. If that's the answer, I'd happily endorse them.
Today's sponsor, GoodRx.
What is the new Giant Bomb one? Cesar, have you been listening to them?
No, I mean, most of the time, and I've said this before, most of the time I listen to that stuff when I'm driving into work, since that commute is not there anymore.
They picked up new advertisement. They were sold to Red Venture, so they're back into the ads again. And it's Blue Chew. It's one of the generic Viagras.
Oh.
So he's like,
Blue
Blue Chew. We're talking about big dicks. It's just try to get hard. This is what it's all about. Go to Blue Chew. They can help you. Discreet doctors, hard dicks.
That sounds like something Vinny would do. It's like, this is bullshit, but we got to do it, so I'm gonna do it my way.
It's a Jeff ad.
Is it a Jeff ad? Yeah. It sounds like something they would do.
That's how we would do ads. If I could hustle a little bit more for us, I'd try to push for us to be on like the Greenlit network or something and jump through whatever hoops that they needed. Push whatever other shows they had.
I'm surprisingly busy as it is sometimes.
Right.
So. But I was doing work stuff maybe like up to an hour ago.
But we ad-lib shit literally all the time. We could get a description of something and come up with a sound bit over the course of a Skype meeting and post that.
I mean, who knows how many copies of Brand sold of Days Gone? So
reaches for Days Gone.
Deserve a kickback.
There he is. He's looking at it. The side eye.
Actually, Days Gone is in a box right now.
What? It's back in its sealed collector's edition box. Is that what you meant?
You put it back in
the glass case.
He's packing.
Then it's home.
Brant, label those boxes. That is the best thing I did. I was literally able to find, Xbox A to F and pull them out and file them. Highly recommend. And I have some tubs. I have spare tubs if you're in need of something to like. It's the black and yellow ones you see SR fish stuff out of. If you need something to like securely put your stuff in for the time being, I invested in them just to make sure my stuff moved like it was supposed to. So just let me know on those.
Smooth operator.
Smooth operator.
I never get past yeah.
It's a pretty good jam.
God bless the 80s, man.
All right, y'all ready? Brand is running on fumes.
Yep.
I was born ready. I'm tired as fuck. No, actually, that cold press is doing the job because the 4 guys, oof.
It's hitting you.
Oh man, it's working. It's fucking working, man. That was the smartest move I did all week.
Cold press.
Yeah.
All right. Let's start recording. You ready?
Sure.
147. Is that right? Is that number right, Brant? I should never doubt you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What was 146?
Last week's.
Well done, sir. That was a sweet burn on all of us.
He got us.
Let me pull that
shot. Oh, yeah. New threats, including anime. It was 146. I'll never doubt you again, Brant. Until next week. I'll never doubt you for the next 24 times 7 hours.
Until next time.
Until next time. Until next time, McKee.
Yeah, I fucked up those first couple times, so now I make sure that the date in the episode number is the first thing I change.
I've tripped over theirs before when I was posting. I was like, damn it. I was putting 2020 in for the first couple episodes this year anyway.
Oh man, I haven't done that since secondary.
I do it every year. Until probably February 1st.
I think it's because I don't know, man. Since I have a computer and everything's obsolete, so it's like I don't even have to sit there and try to figure out spelling because it just tells me.
This is probably the only thing I have to manually enter a date in on too.
Yeah, it's like, here, dumbass, this is what you meant. I'm like, yep, you're right.
Yeah.
Hey, when I start typing lunch skits, it autocorrects whatever I'm typing to lunch skits, so it knows me by now.
Yeah, except for fucking Apple. Apple just, I'll put shit like NYC and it goes like Nook, and I'm like, what the fuck's a Nook? It's like NUC. I was like, why would that ever come up? I'm like, I know what I'm talking about. Damn it.
The only thing mine autocorrects to every time is ducking, so we all know what I have to go correct.
No, I'll put fucking enough in there. It's now at this point, it's like, do you mean fucking? And I screw up when I try to put duck or something there, and it goes like fuck. I'm like, oh, great. Does opposite for me now. It's like it's learning, but it doesn't know when in what context. It's like, no, I need the noun, not the verbiage or adjective. So. Duck.
Yeah, went to the lake, fed some bread to the bucks.
Son of a bitch.
Who gives a duck? Who gives a duck if you fed some fucks? All right, let's go live here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 147 of the NOFODcast. That number's accurate, provided by Brant McKee. He might be on this episode. We are NOFODcast.
May or may not.
May or may not be. He hasn't laughed yet, so we don't know if he's there. We are NOFODcast. We are no outside food or drink. And, of course, we are the Southeast premier video game podcast. We made it through there. Lots of news at the very end of the show. We'll try to blow through these first few so we can deep dive on your Nintendo Direct, which is your last news story. First off, Ratchet & Clank gets a release date. Microsoft's new accessibility program. That's super cool. Can't wait to talk about that one. Kingdom Hearts comes to PC, so everybody will be able to mod their favorite Donald into Kingdom Hearts. Backwards compatible games gets a boost. PS5 stick drift, ? What's coming to Game Pass? Another question mark. Nintendo Direct? Not a question mark. I'm Richard Bergman, joined tonight by Newsmaster Brant McKee.
Question mark.
And Cold Brew Coffee Press Master and Bean Grinder Extraordinaire, Cesar Concepcion II.
Exclamation point. There we go.
You're sticking with it.
Right? Yeah.
Welcome, guys. We're ready to talk games.
Are we?
Games and games played.
Yes.
I think we all have one similar games played this week, I hope.
Probably.
The visual novels and Arage?
The kids are calling it Cat Mario. Is that the same thing?
You son of a bitch.
What is Arage specifically? I feel like I'm missing something.
It's an eroge, and it's you.
Erotique?
Maybe you don't want to know.
Is it similar to?
No.
Kind of.
Well, yeah, kind of.
It's
but
an erotic visual novel.
It's basically it.
I was sort of guessing and figured that's the one all three of us played
Nope,
this
that's
week.
not it.
So.
I thought it was Cat Mario. Apparently, it's not.
Captain Mario.
Oh, we'll get there soon. First, we got to blow through some news. We got to blow through some Arage news. Did I say that right?
Close enough.
It works. It works when you it works when you slaughter.
Brant, do you want to blow some Arage news about Ratchet and Clank?
Oh, it's poor choice of
Well, am I saying something worse than what I think it is? We got Brant. We broke him. He's been delirious for 48 hours. We just ruined him.
So anyway, we got some new news on Ratchet Clank Rift Apart. This, I think it actually was announced. I want to say it was the day after we did our last show. It was either that Thursday or Friday.
Thursday 11th.
Yeah, and it was just announced that it's gonna get released on June 11th of this year, so we don't have to wait too long. And then they went over some of the different editions. There's like a day one edition, and
oh man, that cover art looks amazing.
Let's see.
Holy shit.
Yeah, the cover art looks great. They talk about the digital standard edition, digital deluxe. I'm trying to see, you get so you get Carbonox armor from Ratchet and Clank Going Commando, now updated with high definition materials, lightning responses, and ray traced reflections. They also receive early unlocked of the pixelizer weapon, which that's one of my favorite weapons. What did that
one do? I know you just played through that one.
Pixelizes. Basically just pixelizes and makes them all like 8-bit, like 8-bit kind of deal. But just like all...
it turns like the whole enemy into a sprite?
It basically 8-bit.
Okay.
Yeah. They're like this jumbled sprite, kind of like... I guess the best thing I could equate it to would be like Missing No from Pokemon. It's like a jumbled mess, and you could still, if you like really look, you could see what it. But yeah, it's great to pixelize an enemy and then just run up and hit it with the wrench, and they like
Gotcha.
crumble. Super satisfying. Players will also receive the Retro Blaster from Ratchet and Clank 2016 with updated visuals. Digital. Let's see. The Digital Deluxe will be on the PlayStation Store for $79.99. $9.99 Canadian.
Oh, they get that $20 price hike.
I know there was. Yeah.
Oh, can I go on a Canadian rant?
Okay, there you go.
Speaking of which,
sure.
All right, so I thought I had stumbled upon this secret eBay tactic of, and this may be a well-known thing, but I've won a couple auctions recently because the price looks like it's way higher than it is because the inflation in Canada. It's more expensive, right? It's like 1.25 times. So there's a couple of things that I've purchased, and they ended up being close to the U.S. value. It wasn't like a crazy deal, but it was kind of testing out that Cesar's familiar with this. I was kind of testing out that exchange rate, right?
I know about currency.
Yeah.
Exchange rates. I buy many of stuff from Japan.
Pikmin 2. I didn't have Pikmin 2 for GameCube. So when you look at it on eBay, it says $90-something. And so people are like, okay, I'm not going to go with that. I ended up getting a complete copy for, I think it was $67 shipped, which is not awful. So here's my Canada rant, right? We've all ordered stuff from overseas. We've ordered stuff from Japan. This is the first couple times I've ordered something from Canada. When I've gotten stuff from Japan, it'll usually say like, what is the contents? And U.S. Mail does not do this, so maybe we're the outlier. But it says the Canadian things, it was descriptive as fuck. It didn't beat around the bush. It didn't say video game, nothing. It said GameCube, Pikmin 2, estimated value $70. And I'm like, oh, and it just came through the mail. It's like, oh God, there's no mystery. And so I fucked around with another auction and won a GameCube and 3 games. And it was like a game console, Nintendo GameCube, approximate value $100, included 3 games and accessories. I'm like, oh no. This coming from somebody who had a PS5 just vanished from FedEx. I'm like, no, don't tell them what's in there. Mm-hmm. They already know when it does a label.
Perfectly sealed PS5 in the brown box.
PlayStation 5 console going to Richard. His heart is set on this system. Somebody takes it.
Is it still on the truck?
I need to look, but yeah, they haven't called me about my case number in a while. It's February 17th. What was that? That's 4 months now, right? That is still joyriding.
I just want to check. Yeah, last time I talked to y'all, I said it was still on the truck. It's still coming to me. So, what's happening?
It's not up on any of my browsers. I don't want to derail us too bad. I just wanted to go.
No.
But I'll finish up this with the digital.
Like, oh shit! Let me tell you about Canada's shipping.
With the digital deluxe, you'll actually receive 5 additional armor sets, 20 raritanium, which will give you a head start on upgrading the weapons, because they're keeping the same upgrade system from 2016. 2016, it seems like, as well as a sticker pack to use in Ratchet and Clank's first ever photo mode, as well as a digital art book and digital soundtrack. The day 1 edition, as far as like physical goes, is of course the $79.99, and it will come with a code that gives you the Carbonox and the Pixelizer.
Where's that $79.99? I see the launch edition is $69.99. Am I looking in the wrong spot?
I think it's a digital deluxe.
Yeah, the digital deluxe is $80,
but I think it's only
the same shit with the physical copy.
The physical, the $69.99.
You don't get the digital soundtrack and the sticker pack.
No, you don't get the sticker pack. You don't get the art book, the soundtrack, and you don't get the 20 raritanium. That's only the digital deluxe.
And the Pixelizer for the same price as the normal SKU.
Yeah, and I think I just went ahead and I'm pulling the Cesar, just going ahead and putting shit on my Amazon, getting the day 1 edition.
We're all day 1 on this, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I you just gotta get in the habit. I pre-order everything, and then I just, as it gets close, I cancel if it doesn't.
Yeah.
Price adjust. You just have to stay in that habit of just looking every week. That's the only pain. You can't just sit there like, oh, shit's coming to me. I forgot all about this. Yeah.
All right, Ratchet and Clank. I think that's all our Balan Wonderland was our most look forward to game of the year, but I don't think it is anymore.
I'll buy it. I want some Sega Saturn in my life.
Next up, Microsoft starts new program to make more accessible games. This comes from The Verge. Players with disabilities will test games and give feedback. Basically, they're adding like an API. The program was announced alongside updates to the Xbox accessibility guidelines that were released in early 2020. Developers now have the option to send Microsoft their Xbox or PC title and have it analyzed and validated against the recommendations provided in the Xbox accessibility guidelines, says an Xbox blog post. The Xbox accessibility guidelines include thorough explanations of inclusive design considerations for developers, and they are now updated to include clear language, additional context, and implementation examples. Game test reports will include feedback from players with disabilities as well as links to information on inclusive design, relevant nonprofits, and accessibility experts. Any issues found during testing will be noted with reproduction steps, screenshots, and other information to help the developer understand what aspect of a given experience may be challenging for certain gamers with disabilities, says the post. More companies have been focusing on accessibility in recent years. The Verge notes that Microsoft did it with the Xbox Adaptive Controller, and The Last of Us 2 had all sorts of options in there. I didn't play that one myself, but I know it was noted on this podcast that it had all sorts of colorblind options and reading options, and you could tweak all sorts of settings and inputs and things like that. So this is definitely a huge boon for the industry. And I'm hoping I didn't see it noted in that Verge article, but I'm hoping like the Xbox Adaptive Controller, that API is used for, like, anybody can use it. You can use it for PlayStation games, Switch games, PC, all that kind of stuff. As Xbox themselves have noted, like, when everybody can play, we all win, and that's A1. I always love that story with the Xbox Adaptive Controller where they had a young disabled child was playing Breath of the Wild on Switch and being able to use, whatever interface they had that controller set up at, that they were able to interact and play the game. And I was like, hell yeah. No longer are we stuck with that. And it's so funny that, as we've almost standardized a controller, like, the PlayStation 5 controller does a lot of new stuff, but when you look at it physically, like how we interact with it physically, that interface is not that different than it was for like PS1 and PS2, right? It's still kind of a derivative of that. So, 25, 30 years of evolution now, and we're breaking out of those molds of, you would have these consoles geared around the way this certain controller works. And now the controller is working for however someone who's not able to use that standard controller, and they can play any way that they want to. That's the dream, man. That's where it gets to. I remember with the Wii, people being able to point stuff around, and like dance pads where people who only had motor skills in their feet were able to interact with stuff. And this is like the culmination of that, where they can adapt that and use it for anything. It's super cool. Bravo to them to keep pushing this, and I hope to see it in like everybody's commercials and ads and all that kind of stuff. Oh yeah,
as it should be.
Brent, you want to tell us about modding your favorite Donald into Kingdom Hearts for PC?
So the biggest takeaway with this is Kingdom Hearts is coming to PC with a catch. It's coming to Epic Game Stores. They seem to have some kind of exclusivity, probably like some kind of timed exclusivity with this, but they're getting everything. It's Kingdom Hearts 1.5, 2.5, 2.8, as well as 3, Remind, Melody of Memory. All of it's going to be coming to Epic Game Store.
That's soon too, right? Didn't they put a date on there?
March 30th or something like that, right?
Yeah, there it is, March 30th.
Without it being April. Just about. Yeah, that's everything. But did y'all see the pricing on this?
Yeah.
I mean, give it time. It was the same price that they had on the Xbox when it came out, and look at that. You can get it for like
they're on Game Pass too, right?
So. Yeah.
So if you have a PC,
I'm about to say you can get them cheaper.
May want to invest in Game Pass for a couple months and save yourself 60. Is that it? $180 right off the rip.
Yeah, unless you're not willing to wait. I mean, it's PC. It's going to drop.
Yeah.
So I mean, how many people are out there buying day one on PC as often?
Watch this be a huge seller.
Some people out there. Hey, if they want to spend that money, spend that money. Hey, I'm not the dictator of people's wallets. So
we discussed this in pre-production. You do have sway. You damn handset fiend.
Before you know it, you got 6 Aerogaze all in your cart, and you're buying every single one of them.
Do I need
on
these?
Cesar's on Cesar's recommendation?
Aerogaze.
He says it's like Persona 4, but it's got.
You just got to do all the sex parts. I don't know
It's
why
got all
it's
the
here.
sex parts in it.
Brent, you were going with it's got titties in it. Is that what you were going with? Is that what was next?
Yeah.
Oh no, Persona's already
That's
got
true.
titties in it, so.
Thinly veiled.
Look, I love visual novels like any other visual novel enthusiast, but some of that stuff is just. I guess I got to go through this scene to get with the story. Yeah. It's like sometimes I don't have a choice.
It's like all genres. All genres come with something that we wish we could shrug away from, like our favorite thing about it. You know. I don't like RPGs. I hate casual encounters. I hate random encounters. Okay.
For casual encounters, yeah, not random encounters. Oh, there's a guy there. I can run away from him.
Just stroll past him. Don't be stressed. Don't be stressed.
Push. You got to put the Blue Dragon model on there. Playable, not playable. Playable.
Blue Dragon.
Gosh. I just wish I didn't have to press A to stairs.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
That'll kill RPG. Xbox Wire posting tells us about backwards compatible boosting. Did anybody read this article?
Yeah, I mean, basically all it says is that Microsoft's got they're pushing out a backwards compatibility feature, and they're doing it on 5 games where they're upping the frame rates up to from 30 to 60, and then sometimes to 120 frames per second.
And these are specifically Xbox One titles, right? All these they mentioned. Yeah.
Correct. These were games originally designed to run at 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second. It all depends on the game. So the first one's coming out the pipeline is Far Cry 4, which is at 60 frames per second. New Super Lucky's Tale, which is at 120 frames per second. And then Sniper Elite 4, UFC 4, and then Watch Dogs 2, rounding it out at 60 frames per second. They said if you open up the menu and you go into, it's been a while since I played. If you go into home, you can see from the capture settings that if that game is running in the FPS boost mode, it'll be right under auto HDR, it'll be like a little plus sign. To let you know that it's active. So it gives you the ability to turn it on and off because you know how, sometimes not everything's going to work out perfectly. I'm sure it'll be fine because Microsoft knows what they're doing. But, sometimes some games will break at certain points, so you should be able to turn that option off. That way you're not forced to do it. So that way you do run into something, But that's basically what it is. They said those are their first 5 games coming out the pipeline, and they're looking at doing more. So it's part of their dedication to upgrading previous generation games to make them playable on the best hardware they can at the time. So
there's going to be a new tab that says compatibility options right next to auto HDR, like Cesar was saying, and you can toggle FPS boost. There will also be a new indicator informing you when a game is running with FPS boost whenever you hit the Xbox button. So I guess mine says HDR, but I don't know if that's the TV doing that or. I'll be interested to see how that looks. Cesar, you're the only one with a Series X. You may have to let us know how that looks. You'll be checking out new Super Lucky Tale, I'm sure.
I mean, because, typically when you look at the old consoles, it will push out HDR on the home screen or if the game is compatible. The Series X, and I'm assuming the Series S at a certain capacity is the same way. They have some kind of filter that pushes out like auto HDR, even for games that are not natively in HDR. And I know they've done that in their backwards compatibility for like the 360 and some of the older console games before in the back, when they upgraded those. So I think that's just they're like a filter effect that where it kind of it uses part of their engineering where it just kind of just fills the screen with what it should look like if it was an HDR game. So that's why they give you the option to turn it off because it may not come out as clear depending on the game or how well it's tested. So, but I personally haven't come across any issues with it because I've played. A good bit of my games on there. It looks fine when you pop it in. HDR, so yeah, I don't see any weird, color glitches where you're looking at something like that doesn't look right, and you have to sit there turning it on and off. So,
gotcha.
So it's worked for me as much as I played on it. So
we got an error on something. So they say look forward to more games coming up with that, and they also note that New Super Lucky's Tale and Sniper Elite 4, so 2 of your initial 5 are on Xbox Game Pass, so you can try them out and see what that's like if you have a Series X with those benefits, or Series S. Did we settle on Series console? Is that what we went with?
That's
It kind of
what
makes
I
sense
say.
at this point, right?
Yeah.
Where's my chat?
Sometimes. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's still kind of muddled. Yeah.
There's some games that say they run on Series X but don't run the same on
so
Series S.
it's not like comparing one to the other. Evenly, that is.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's more along the lines of, I mean, you could say series, but I mean, at some point you have to differentiate. It's going to be similar to like a PC. You know, everybody's graphics card is not the same. You have powerful graphics card, and you have a lower.
I'm so behind.
Card,
I'm looking at the game to see if it's 1X enhanced. I'm like, ooh, throw me a bone. I just got this like 2 years ago. Oh, yeah. Shit. That's it with that. PS5's DualSense controller also faces, accept all cookies, drift issues. This comes from GameIndustry.biz and Marie Delasandri. PlayStation 5's controller, the DualSense, is allegedly suffering from the same drift issues that have been widely reported on the Nintendo Switch's Joy-Con. Did we already talk about this? I feel like this came up.
I don't know. This is deja vu because I mean, Microsoft has something with their Elite controllers too.
Yeah, and they mentioned
at
some
point,
that
everybody's had an issue with.
Okay, so
with controllers.
Let's throw this out there. There's a percentage of failure rate for all hardware. All these stories are probably populating underneath all those. It seems like the Joy-Con drift is the only really widespread one, but that could also be because everyone bought Switches at one time. So, have y'all experienced Joy-Con drift on any of yours?
I did on my Pro controller, but that was because for some reason I had like caked on dust under the left analog stick for whatever reason, and then I had to blow it out, and after that I was gone. But I think a lot of that stuff is just debris in those.
And that's just a Pro controller. It's not even the Joy-Con.
Those ports, yeah. I think it's just the way they're designed. It just gets debris in there, and that's how they are. Because usually when I go in there and clean them out, it works fine. Now I have controller drift issues on my PS4 controllers here and there. So, for whatever reason, I haven't had any issues with my PS5. But on the last batch of PS4 ones I've had, it where my right analog stick fudged up, and I play some game and the camera keeps turning. I'm like, what the fuck's happening?
I've got one Xbox One controller that creeps forward slowly, but it's only like 15 minutes after somebody's in. So it's the you know how we gave our Mad Catz controller to the person that came over to play games with us? That's my controller. It's like, you try this one. Let me know if anything goes wrong with it. It's like, man, I'm moving forward. I'm not even doing it, and it's like 2 rounds into Halo. Oh, my bad. Let's swap it out. It's my Mad Catz.
Get your laughs in.
Sony's customer support told Kotaku the controller drift is covered by the console's warranty, but you have to pay for the shipping fees yourself if you want to send the controller to a repair center. This sounds like everybody's first-year warranty. New games coming to Game Pass in February. This comes from Wesley at Eurogamer. Side note, I've had a Twitter conversation with Wesley. He's a super cool person, even though he is a Chelsea fan of Premier League football team Chelsea. I complimented him. He wrote that deep dive. I think I talked about it on this podcast on it was Perfect Dark's 20th anniversary, I believe. He was talking about like the dev cycle and all the crazy stuff that they encountered with the Bond license and development and all that. And I just reached out to him, like, you know, when something hits me like that, I was like, man, this was a hell of a read, well researched, you know, very thorough. I enjoyed every minute of it, brought back tons of memories. I'm playing this now with my brother, that kind of thing. And he was like, great to hear, you know, it's what I wanted to do with writing and stuff like that. So people do appreciate, like, just like when we get positive and negative feedback. When we get that feedback, you know, it's like, you know, it hits somebody. It's somebody's paying attention to it. So that's always a cool thing. Let's see what we got there. Does somebody want to cover these games coming to Game Pass? There's some bangers in there.
Yeah, I mean, the only ones that are coming out for that month, for, let's say, and this is all from Eurogamer.net, like you said, from Wesley. Console, you got Elite Dangerous. Cloud and console, you got Killer Queen Black. Cloud and console, you got Deadfire Ultimate Edition. Cloud and console and PC, you have Wreckfest. Cloud console plus PC, you have Dirt 5. PC, you have Super Hot Mind Control. And then PC, you have Code Vein. and those will all be coming this month. I think what was on the 18th. Outside on the 23rd will be Killer Queen, and then 2 days later will be Dirt 5. Dirt 5 is a pretty big
Dirt
one.
5
That was
is
a recent
huge,
release
and
too.
it's 120 frames per second on Series X too, right?
That is correct. Yeah. I don't know if based off this, does it say include the year 1 expansion? No, with that I don't know. That's how typically how they try to sell those expansions sometimes.
Played Killer Queen Black? Cesar, I know you and I tried it at that indie showcase we went to, but it's supposed to be like a lot of multiplayer fun, and
I think I picked up a physical copy on Switch when it was during not last holiday, the holiday before, when it was like $15 or some shit like that. Whether or not I played it, probably not, because I can show you my Switch games and it's ridiculous. So it's just a wall of red. So it's probably my least paid console, and I put like 200 hours into it last
non-stop
year.
collected though.
Hey man, they keep putting out Xenoblade, then I'll play Xenoblade.
Most played Switch game is Xenoblade series.
And then I'll just keep recording bullshit moments from Mario 3D World and just post it on Twitter. So
the game has some bullshit moments in it, doesn't it?
I've died many times for bullshit. I'm like,
Try playing with 3 other people, but we'll get to that later. So some more good games for Game Pass. It seems like, I don't want to point the fingers at Microsoft, but they seem to always have some sort of PR-friendly announcement right around Nintendo Direct times. It's always an entertaining note. Cesar's on the move somewhere. I was going to wait to start the Nintendo Direct that happened today.
You can continue. Talk among yourselves. I use the binder.
We might keep some dead air. I don't know. We got 6 people with us. We may want to better entertain. It's been a long time since a Nintendo Direct. It says, yeah.
Oh my gosh!
I didn't realize
since like last September, I think, or not last September,
2019.
but 2019.
September 4th is what IGN notes. I didn't realize it'd been that long, but we had like so many minis. That was partner and minis rolled up into one. We've had so many partner mini showcases, and like upcoming, just like brief things. That this is the first deep dive thing we've had in a long time.
And oh boy, was it a
they went
was it a show?
And this IGN article's not in chronological order either, is it?
And that's the problem with having to find an article a couple hours after the event has aired. People are just posting, of course, what they remember first, and then their kind of top picks, and then they actually try to go into everything.
I think what I'm going to do, because he was posting it chronologically, I think I'm going to pull up the Wario thread where he went in on this.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it when we can choose the ones that are all over the place.
It's usually Chris Kohler, isn't it?
Yeah, he's like, shot in the dark. That's what I feel like.
Yeah, this article that I picked, I mean, it starts out in the right place. It starts out with the announcement of the new Smash character.
Yeah. Let me go past...
But then it jumps right to the other big announcement that was like right at the freaking end of the dang show. So
it's all of Wario's affiliate links. Replying to, how do I get to the top of this? There it is. All right, we're gonna get there. There were so many freaking games announced. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Cesar's segue from Xenoblade was perfect. Cesar, we're getting 2 characters into Smash. Who are those 2?
In one character who can change into 2 separate people. Let's get the lore right.
Hey, you correct me. I'm always down for autocorrect. Go ahead, let it happen.
So yeah, it's just Pyra and then Mithra, which is like if you play the game, it's kind of like they're sharing the same body. So it's 2 different personalities.
Is that a spoiler in the game?
I'm excited about. Maybe after the first 2 hours, probably will be. It's not like deep in the game. We're like, towards the end you get fucked on this part, but
Ganondorf turned into Ganon.
Shit! No! What do you mean? Blew my mind. I put a dwarf at the end of it, and I never knew.
That Sheik
character
with blonde hair and the same eyes as the princess might be the princess.
The one that Russell has a crush on.
They might be connected. What?
But yeah, outside of that, I mean, I was pretty excited for this
Cool.
Announcement. I know they have some moves on there where Rex helps
Is this
her
part
out.
of the Fighters Pack, or is this coming to everybody? Fighters Pack?
Yeah, this is the Fighters Pack. I think the DLC. Yeah, from what I can see, it's been mixed online about it because some people feel about it's just another sword character.
So
who
Smash
knows?
Brothers is still like massively huge, right? The
Yes.
only side effect of this is, again, like people are talking about it, like Cesar says, and it's mixed or negative. He says all that does is shine more light on Xenoblade, and that means more people will try to figure out who those players are, who these characters are. It's the Marth effect, right? Where did this guy come from? What game is he from? And then all of a sudden we get all these games and this interest is driven through the roof, and now we're getting like a Fire Emblem game every year, and we didn't get one until like almost 20 years into its life, right?
Now they're giving us Fire Emblem games that expired
with expiration dates.
It's that popular now. They're throwing expiration dates in there. Best by March.
So they
31st.
announced this. They announced this direct like 2 days ago. So we didn't have time to talk about it on last week's show. But the best comment I saw was they said it was going to be 50 minutes 2 days ago. We knew this direct was going to be 15 minutes long, and somebody said it was going to be 50 minutes of Miyamoto eating soup, slowly removing things from the eShop. These games that were going to leave the eShop.
Sounds right.
Oh man, I was in tears. I don't know if it's Jeff Grubb or who, but the comment was just like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, it's like I would periodically go into YouTube, and every so often I was like, I remember when they threw up the channel for the little splash thing. I was like, there was 8,000 people in there. I was like, man, we got another day and a half. I'm like, there's 8,000 people just waiting in the live chat, just going crazy about it. I think you keep blowing up a little bit more as the time got
Lord
closer.
help you if you pull up the chat even 3 days out, you'll just see the chat going crazy. Next up, Fall Guys is coming to Switch. I thought this was teased already, or maybe it was Game Pass that was kind of thrown out there.
I think
it was Game Pass.
Yeah, I think they try to let the cat out the bag too early.
So that's coming via Devolver Digital, and that is summer of this year. I don't think we've gotten an actual clarification.
Nope, this summer.
Next up was Outer Wilds is also coming this summer. Everybody raves about this, and I haven't even tried it out yet. Anybody played or tried Outer Wilds?
This was the first one. This is the one was this the one they had it on Game Pass first, and then they put it on PS4 later? I think, yeah, because I think this was originally a Game Pass game.
It released like 2 weeks away from Outer Worlds, which was like the Fallout type game. So I was kind of in between on, if I had to pick, I knew which one I was going to try out over the other one. But people rave about Outer Wilds. All right, next up, Cesar, tell us about Famicom Detective Club coming to Switch.
It's the only thing I cared for out of this whole announcement.
I know you are. Tell us about it.
Yeah, man, this is a visual novel that's remakes of the original games that was done on the NES back in the day. This is the game was done, I think, majority from some of the original team members from the Famicom game was on this one as well. This is being handled by Mages. Mages is kind of like a visual novel workhorse in Japan. I mean, they mostly just do visual novels. A lot of them are anime based, like Konosuba. My Teenage Romance, and then it's a bunch of other anime based ones that they just do visual novels. They also handle the Steins Gate series as well. So I mean, they've got and a lot of visual novels. So this is coming out May 14th. Includes the first and the second game. I think they're individually priced at $34.99 a piece. I just saw that tweet go live for Nintendo. If you buy the first one, you get $10 off the second one.
Nice.
So we'll see what happens. I don't know how long these games are because I think they came out in Japan already, but I know the original games on the NES were like 6 to 8 hours. So it depends on how you feel about spending $34 for 6 to 8 hours.
Are they only digital?
It looks like that way, yeah.
Okay. Maybe limited run or somebody will pick it up.
Doubtful because this is being published by Nintendo. So this is a Nintendo IP.
Gotcha. Famicom Detective Club. Red and blue. Next up was Samurai Warriors 5. I saw, what's his name, Nobunaga, and I was like, oh shit, what is this? but it's Samurai Warriors 5 out announced for Switch out this summer.
It's before he started collecting Pokemon, so
right.
I still have that game. I think I'm looking at it. Yes, it's still there.
What is the title of that? I remember that coming out. Nobunaga Pokemon Adventure.
I got it.
Pokemon Conquest. That's it. That's it. That was one of their offshoots. All right, that comes out this summer.
Yep, those were the days, man. You know, he fucked around, killed a bunch of samurai, and then he went and started collecting Pokemon. It's all part of the Nobunaga lore. And then he ended up in Neo and just started fucking around and killing people. He was also in Onimusha, started working with demons. He's all over the place.
Everything. Real-time strategy, monster battling.
Throwing him a game, it's time to fuck shit up. That's what he does.
After that, coming June 4th is Legend of Mana, which is super exciting. I know this is not a highly revered mana game. I enjoyed the hell out of this. I played it co-op with a friend of mine back in the day on PS1, and we had a blast. It's got more of a world building aspect to it. Like, you kind of make the layout of the world as you go. But it's going to have includes rearranged music, the ability to turn off those casual encounters, and HD backgrounds, and that's coming June 24th.
And I think Square came out. So, all right, let's add this stuff. I know this is a Nintendo Direct, but let's add this stuff in there too for other people.
Everybody confirmed after the fact.
So, Samurai Warriors 5 is coming to everything. Mm-hmm. I think it's PC, PS4, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. And Legend of Mana that's coming out on PS4 and Steam as well.
Next up, somebody want to take some of these? My throat's running out.
Next up, they went over another trailer for Monster Hunter. Then the latest trailer, that game's coming out next month, and then they showed off the console, which includes a digital download for the game, and deluxe DLC, and then Pro Controller.
That Pro Controller looks awesome, and I'm not even a Monster Hunter fan.
I still have a personal. I think my favorite one is still going to be Xenoblade 2, but it is what it is. Don't know why I brought it up, but whatever. Next up was Mario Golf Super Rush.
Looks good.
Yeah.
They're trying to redeem themselves from the Mario Tennis fiasco.
Which was garbage.
Of the 2019. I think it was 2019 or 2018. I can't remember which one the Mario Tennis fiasco was.
It was trash. Don't worry about when it came out. It was garbage.
All right. Outside of this, they kind of glanced over some of the gameplay, some of the characters you can play as. They also confirmed that you can use motion controls to help with the swing of the golf club. And then they showed off a mode called Speed Golf, where you basically race each other to y'all's respective balls and try to score into the hole, basically before the other player does.
He was like running. He was like running across the course, like he was on fire.
Then they went into will include a story mode, and the story mode will use Mii's, as well as they confirm you can take those Mii's into the multiplayer or versus play inside Mario Golf. And so Mario Golf Super Rush will be available June 25th.
That's pretty soon.
What would normally would be around E3, or what the remnants of E3 will be this year if that happens.
The remnants is right.
Next up, after we got news from Gearbox that Tales from the Borderlands was coming back to the old digital stores that they were previously before, which was PS4 and Xbox and PC. They confirmed that it is also coming to the Switch March 24th. It's going to include all the episodes all together in a package. So I was a huge fan when this came out. This was one of the early PS4 games. I remember playing through this painstakingly on the old model they had on there, where they had to release an episode every couple months and to wait for it to finish. I don't know why I torture myself between that and an anime. It sucks ass. I don't want to do that anymore. Worst story I ever heard in my life. Outside of that, we went into Capcom Arcade Stadium, which is out today.
I downloaded this.
1943 for free, and I think it also includes Ghosts and Goblins for free as well until the 25th.
Go ahead and grab that as DLC, quote unquote DLC.
They said that they're going to do arcade packs. I don't think they went into details about the packs yet. I haven't looked at them. I think they're $14.99. I don't know how many games come with it. They were breaking it down on there, but I don't remember what it was. I think they just clarified and came out and said this will also come to PS4 and Xbox at a later date. Yep. No, there's no date on those. I think we saw, what was that Capcom hack that was leaked. I think they have a 6-month exclusive. That was part of the hack. I think it was that and Ghost.
Yeah. This was in that big leak they had, wasn't it?
So I think it's going to be, yeah. So I think it'll be summer, probably in the summer when we see it on the other consoles. Yeah. PC, I imagine it'll be on PC as well. And then we went to the thing that Richard always wanted, and he brought back on his Worship Circle, which was Stubbs the Zombie re-release.
I wish
March 16th.
I had drawn a pentagram just for Stubbs the Zombie and put my Xbox copy in the middle, hoping to bring it back.
And then you had a Halo to the next of it, right? And you're like, oh, this has something to do with it.
So I'm glad this is available because this is highly revered amongst so many people. I finally got a copy, and Cesar and I put, maybe 2 hours into it. And we were like...
I had more fun with the Chariot game, whatever that was. We were like, I want to say Chariots of Fire, but that's a movie. Yeah. But,
Circus Maximus, I think is the chariot.
Oh, didn't he have fucking chariots in there? Whatever. I just went straight to Chariots of Fire.
We were not that impressed with Stubbs the Zombie. It was very average, in our opinion. Playing co-op.
I had this before I bought it on PC. I think I still have a physical copy somewhere when I went through my let's build a PC phase. And played it on there. But as Richard said, it's coming out on PS4, Xbox, PC, and Switch all March 16th.
By Asper. They were recently bought up, right? And that's a new THQ Nordic product.
Embracer Group, yeah. Mm-hmm. Then we got a new trailer for No More Heroes 3 and an actual release date this time, which is August 27th. And they kind of went into details about the aliens you'll be fighting, as well as you have to pay an entrance fee to fight the boss battles this time, where it has you doing bullshit odd jobs, which I'm assuming is probably a mixture of Travis Strikes Back, which was that kind of like that ode to indie games. It looks like it had some of those type of mini games in there that was in there.
Was it the grass cutting bit that I saw out of that?
Yep, it was a grass cutting bit. There was one that was like he was going through a haunted high school in first person mode, and it was like it's a bunch of off the wall random shit all over the place.
Random shit.
So, but which fits the No More Heroes aesthetic. So,
right.
Next up we had Neon White, which is out winter. I almost put out White out.
Neon White out. This looked good.
It comes out winter 2021, which was basically these assassins that work in heaven for whatever reason. I guess heaven needs assassins.
This looked really, really cool.
What was that? This was card based. It was first person. When we're looking at it, I guess you use a card to do different attacks as you run around the field. Mm-hmm. That was what I got from it. I don't remember if they were speaking anything else, but I do like the character design.
Oh yeah, they look like some kind of
very cool.
Like masked Shinigami or something. It was really neat.
Yeah, it was some freaking Bleach characters almost. Yeah. Visors. Outside of that, we went into DC Superhero Girls Team Power, which is out June 4th, and this one's being published by Nintendo. This is based off the TV show that I did not watch, and I cannot explain what the show is about. Yeah, it looks like a platformer that accompanies that show.
Wow, that's a Nintendo title.
It is. It's published by Nintendo.
Huh.
It comes out June 4th. I think it's like $49.99. Might turn out to be a good thing here. Let's see. I'm looking at making sure, but yeah, it is a Nintendo title, even though Warner Brothers owns that license.
Batgirl, this could be Supergirl. I don't recognize any of those other characters.
Wonder Woman's in there. I'm not deep on the DC lore. I know Flash, and that's it.
Batman.
That's the only thing I read. Sure, we can say that.
All right, Cesar, you've got the next two.
It's like old Batman. It's like steampunk Batman. I don't know what's fucking happening going with Batman.
You have the next two in the Nintendo Direct, and then Brant is going to be forced to take over.
That's fine. He is our correspondent. Next up was Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville Complete Edition. This is with all the bullshit DLC that came out separately in the other consoles. This is coming out for Switch March 19th.
That looked good. That kind of fell off the radar after that second one for me, but this looks pretty sharp.
It was good. It was good. It's just sometimes, you have to... It's one of those games that you have to put in a lot of time, but it's a lot of fun to play. I mean, I never had a bad time with a Plants vs. Zombie game, to be honest with you. Yeah. Outside of that, we also had a 3DS game coming over, which is looks like an expanded version of Miitopia, coming out for Switch on May 21st.
I didn't see this one coming.
Outside of that, it looks like they have a lot more options. They showcase like you can add makeup to your Miis. There's a lot more deeper personalization you can add on there from the 3DS version. They also look to build more what's that word? I guess more teamwork with your teammates. Depending on if you're in a good graces with your team, they'll have extra attacks. If you're in bad graces with your teams, they'll end up fighting each other versus the actual task at hand. They all play out some kind of role playing type story with it's tongue in cheek basically.
Yeah.
They also added on there that you can now get horses in your party. So they kind of just went over the differences in there. I don't think much has probably changed from it before on there. It's like a light, fun light RPG. You know, it's a good time probably, especially if you have you're big on creating Miis or have a family that uses the Switch a lot and have a lot of Miis. It might be one of those things that fun to see your characters create fucking around basically.
Is this gonna bring back Street Pass?
Yes. No.
Okay, I was in for a second.
You had me at puzzle pieces, and then we went away when you said Miis.
Yep.
I'm going to pass this over to our correspondent for the next two. I'm willing to take the rest of it afterwards. That's up to him.
Coming live.
Wherever he may.
Brent, can you hear us? Coming live from the spring / Mario update. Can you hear us, Brent? Brent, are you there?
You're gonna have to forgive me. My mobile service isn't great out here. I'm having trouble with this, but I can only
you mean on your island?
I can only assume that you're throwing it to me because of the update coming February 25th to Animal Crossing.
No, we all split up the Nintendo Direct. Update? It was just your turn.
How much is that update? Is it like $99?
What
do I get for that sweet price for that update?
Oh, I see it there.
I don't know. Tom Nook's going to be charging you a whole lot for all of this. So the items are going to be available March 1st, but free update for all these Mario themed items.
Fucking Cesar's lead-in. And look at all their stupid asses standing there.
Now I'm just gotta wait secretly for my Rocket for Animal Crossing, and I'll be.
Oh God!
That's all I need.
My stomach hurts from laughing.
But you'll have all sorts of new Mario themed costumes, shirts, hats, pants, and decorations for your islands, such as bricks, coin blocks, the little end goal pole, warp pipes, all sorts of Mario goodness.
The goal pole.
To throw the goal pole.
Is that what it's referred to as?
I don't know, man.
I don't know. That's the easiest thing. That's what came out, man.
Yeah,
the goal pole.
I've got 4,000 bells. I'd like to spend them on a Luigi stash and a goal pole. Please.
I want the goal pole, baby.
Please, Nook.
I would love to buy this Wario outfit so somebody can just go wah at me every time I walk by. Please annoy the fuck out of me. I would like to get that the womp.
The thwomp. The shells.
That turtle shell that just circles around. I'm like, what the fuck is this for?
On a side note, the Lego Thwomp set is really cool.
Yeah, all that will be available for purchase in game March 1st.
For the low price of how much?
Free update.
Free. You just gotta spin them bells.
Oh God! Look, it actually looks good. The Mario stuff actually looks decent in there.
I'll have to apologize if I go out of order because, like I said, my dang mobile network's not doing me good here.
I can finish
we needed you.
It's all right.
You did your bit, Brent. Brent, you're breaking up. We appreciate your on-site reporting.
Island satellite phone not working.
You're the guy reporting on the storm that's like being blown sideways the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, get your ass inside. You're fine. All right, Cesar.
Yeah, I'll finish it up, Brian. It's fine, man.
All right.
That way we'll just knock it out.
Oh God, there's a shit ton more. Cesar, get a couple, and then I'll pick it back up.
A lot.
No, that's fine. We'll knock it out. So after that, this is another. Then they announced another 2D HD series, which is in the same engine as Octopath, which is Project Triangle Strategy, which looks like akin to the old style Final Fantasy Tactics. This is the feel I got from it. They kind of just showed off some gameplay, the 3 different areas, and Iron Salt. I remember that I was sitting there trying to like spell out the word. And it's two separate words. And when they combine them together, I was like, "What does that mean?" I was like, "Oh, I'm a fucking idiot." But whatever. Outside of that, you play a group of characters who's trying to stop this world between three nations. All they basically brought out says it comes out in 2022. They're going to go the same route they did with Project Octopath as well as a Bravely Default. They were going to release a demo today and request user feedback later, and then build off that feedback. The demo is available. After that, we went to Star Wars Hunters, which was announced as a free-to-play game, which is, I think they said was third person, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, this was just a teaser, right?
Yeah, the only thing I saw in there was Zynga. I was like, oh, and then I was like, oh, I don't play Zynga games.
Yeah.
Another sinking ship to another sinking ship. All right. The lore takes place between episodes 6 and 7. They just kind of show a corral of characters and through holograms and then just some sound effects. So we don't know what it looks like. But this looks like this is all part of the Lucasfilm's revamped deal they made with Star Wars, since they're trying to get it more out there now.
Starting to see that logo everywhere on a bunch of stuff that's not EA related.
It seems like it's going to be their take on like an arena fighter.
That's my guess too.
Probably cash in. Speaking of cash ins on what's popular and EA.
Oh yeah, this one's another EA Originals. This looks like in the vein of I was like Rock Arena. Is that you? But
it looked like Fortnite. The characters looked exactly like Fortnite to me.
Yeah, they had those generic characters from other Activision. Like, it looks like it was making fun of other Activision projects. Because I thought this was an Activision game because it had like the Warcraft character, and then I guess somebody's supposed to be like Mario, and then another one's supposed to be like Call of Duty type esque one. Or like, yeah, we don't play that game. We play this real game right here, which is this Knockout City. Which, for whatever reason, I sat there and was like, is this Rocket Arena just spelled differently? And I was trying to, I was like, it doesn't have any A's. And I was like, it doesn't. I thought they were trying to trick us or something like that. I went deep in the lore that there's no lore. Don't just ignore it. So basically, you're going around and it looks like you're playing dodgeball. It's one of those ones you get customizations for characters. You work in teams, and I guess you're trying to score goals and you throw the ball at each other. I didn't know what was happening here.
It looks like it's all about customization and crazy outfits.
It is their version of Fortnite, as you point out, with a dodgeball that some of the characters can turn into a dodgeball. I don't know what's
Destruction
happening.
Dodgeball All-Stars.
I don't get it because I'm old as fuck. Apparently, if I was 18 or younger, I would understand it, and that's the way it is. And I apologize to all our young listeners.
We're to the age. We're to the age where we can immediately back up. Like, that's not for me. I see it.
Hey, it is what it is.
I see it. I see you for who you are. That's not for me.
I'm that age where I have to take off these glasses and put on a second pair of glasses and look at them. Well, sure it is. So, and then go back and forth.
Surely you can't be serious.
Yes,
I am, and don't call me
back
Shirley.
in my day.
Outside of that, they announced World's End Club was coming to Switch. This is a game that was already in iOS. This was from the Danganronpa and Zero Escape creators. That follows that vein where these group of, I guess, school children. I'm trying not to use the word children, but that's the only thing I can think of, are caught inside a death game, Battle Royale style. Students, there we go. Thank you. Because I don't know their ages or not, and that's probably a little too big. It's like their version of Lord of the Flies and whatever. So basically, it's just another kin of a visual novel. It's coming out May 28th. After that, they announced Hades was getting a physical edition announced, coming from Supergiant Games. It also includes like almost 3 hours of music, digital
big
code,
soundtrack,
and as well as I think that was the big announcement. It's coming out March 19th, and I think it's for like $39.99 or $34.99.
That was on a lot of people's games of the year list last year.
And that was like, I think one of those, it's like you said, one of those games that were asking a lot of those like limited run, those type of publishers to publish that game. So I guess Supergiant just went ahead and went on there and got it.
Cool.
Next up, we had maybe some controversy. I don't know. Ninja Gaiden Master Collection's coming out with all DLC included.
What was controversial?
Everybody doesn't care for the Sigma. They wanted the black version. That was like their number one comment on there. Like, I don't want the Sigma shit. They don't want the PlayStation version, because I think that was that had the less blood or something like that. It was toned down violence-wise.
There's an answer. Get an Xbox One or up and get Ninja Gaiden Black and play it to your heart's content.
That is also a solution.
It's available.
Ninja Gaiden 2 is on there as well, which I think the original version of Ninja Gaiden 2 is. So it's like you said, it includes 1, 2, and the redone version of 3, which is Razor's Edge. They did confirm this was coming out for PS4, Xbox, and PC and Switch. I think it's coming out for everything. Don't quote me on PC because PC can be up in the air sometimes. And then they just kind of do a sizzle reel of like it looks like the original PS3 360 games. That doesn't like they really did much on there except make it playable on the platforms. I could be wrong. The biggest difference
probably
is
for the Switch versions. Yeah. Let's be honest.
Let's hope they get it all in one cartridge on the Switch version. Let's hope for that.
Don't hold your breath.
Let's hope. I didn't say it will be. Let's hope. Yeah.
No,
I don't know, man.
It's gonna say download required.
They're gonna get that
box,
16 gig card, and it's gonna have one, maybe two of those games, and you'll have to download the third.
And what's sad is I have Divinity 2 on the Switch, and that was like a 120 gig card or something. It's like 64 gig card, and it has everything on that card. So
they could spend if they wanted.
Yeah, hey, it could be done. I paid $60 for that game. It was worth every penny. Then we had the Age of Calamity expansion pass. The first bit is going to be available May 28th. It's going to be a new weapon for Link and a costume for Link. Then the Wave 1 will be at the end of June, which includes an expanded roster. They didn't say who. Newly added weapon types. New challenges in the Royal Ancient Lab, and then newly added challenge enemies, excuse me. And then Wave 2, which is November 2021, which is a new character vignettes, newly added stages, expanded roster again, and then new battle skills for existing characters, and all this for the low price of $19.99.
I will give them this. Going back to like Mario Kart 8, I think is the first one I remember really paying for DLC for a Nintendo first-party title. They do a good job. These expansion passes aren't half-assed. I think people have been impressed with the Pokemon one. Brant, didn't you speak on the Pokemon one before? And it being pretty substantial?
That's, I had been into the Pokemon. I actually haven't played them since the original Sun and Moon. That's about after I jumped back into the series in X and Y and then fell off after Sun and Moon. So, I mean, I didn't stay super back into the series for long, but my son has stayed in it. That's and what it was. He talks about them all the time, and from everything he tells me about them, they are quite a substantial update to the game, and a good bit of content added. Yeah,
that Mario Kart 8 stuff was really good, and the Breath of the Wild added all kinds of like challenge missions and everything, the motorbike and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. One day I will go back and play my expansion pass that I bought for Breath of the Wild.
Same.
I bought it and stuff. I haven't even put the cartridge in there where it would load up and do any of that shit.
I'm in the same boat.
I started doing some of the DLC and just never finished.
Russell got farther into that Master Sword upgrade quest than I did. It was pretty hard. I got to a room. You got to go climb that ladder. I got to a room that just kicked my ass, so... He got pretty far into... I think he got the first upgrade, as a matter of fact. He got halfway through those 50 floors.
Maybe he'll confirm it one day for us.
I'll pick it up from here, Cesar. Speaking of Breath of the Wild 2, no news today. It'll be later on this year. Series producer A.G. Aonuma, did I say that right? Came on there to give us a Breath of the Wild update. They also announced probably the worst-kept Zelda remaster secret. Legend of Zelda: The Skyward Sword is coming to the Switch. Not only that, it's been recreated with Joy-Con controls, and it's supposed to be even better than the Wii Remote Plus, is what they were advertising. And you can
and the right analog stick.
And you can also play with button-only controls using the right analog stick, as Cesar was teasing in pre-production. We were joking back and forth about it as they were announcing it. And then, did y'all see the end of that Skyward Sword thing? He's like giving you this rundown of Aonuma, that is. He's giving you this rundown of like, if Breath of the Wild was your first Zelda game, please go back to this. This was the last traditional style Zelda game, and many of the features, controversial at the time, were then implemented and improved upon in Breath of the Wild. It's like he was going over these things like try to like this game. It doesn't suck as bad as everybody said it did. I think it would be easier to go back and enjoy this at this point.
I mean, the first thing I recognized immediately when it came on screen was Streamworks 2. Was the music.
Yeah,
I was more excited for that. Some people give Breath of the Wild shit because they're like, music in Breath of the Wild is just a piano and it's just one key. And I know that's not the truth, but that's like the most memorable thing we probably remember from Breath of the Wild. Try to think of another movement from Breath of the Wild, and I can't think of one.
It's a more ambient soundtrack for sure.
There's music in there. Yeah, there's music in there. Yeah. It's just It's just not for me. It didn't register for much. As I just knew it was instantly when I heard that theme from Skyward Sword. I remember that theme and I'm humming it.
The backwards Zelda's Lullaby, the hymn of the goddess, I think it is.
And that's from a guy here who put 5 hours total on that Wii game. So.
Yeah, me and you did that together, and at the end of the 5 hours, I turned around and you were passed out on the. You were asleep. I was like, we just got the tunic. Man. Let's keep going. Cesar's passed
the best
out.
Sleep best sleep I ever got was when you and Russell were playing Star Fox Adventures. I was like, man, I'm looking at a copy of Star Fox Adventures right now. It's looking at me, play
Wake
me.
Wake up, bitch! It's your turn.
Yeah, it's looking at me like, play me right next to Silent Hill Shattered Memories.
My Star Fox Adventures air freshener is in there with my copy. It came from Kmart, man.
Look, all I know is when we play video games and I fall asleep, that's the best sleep I ever get because I fell asleep when we played Gears 3 also. So.
These are all good games too.
Like and I fell asleep in my bed. In my bed at Gears 3. Just left John like, we can't advance the level. Where are you?
He's staring up. This is a day one for everybody, right? We're gonna give Skyward Sword another go, especially with the new controls.
Yeah. I mean, it's a Zelda game.
Oh yeah.
So I usually buy Zelda games day one.
Oh yeah.
Tell you, it's definitely a day one. Is these Zelda themed Joy-Cons? There we go.
Get it, Brant.
It's not like Famicom. The Famicom clubs. That one's going to be day one automatically. I've already paid for them.
You already pre-ordered the digital copies?
Yes.
As Brant was saying, there's Skyward Sword Joy-Cons. One's like a navy blue, and one's, I guess they're comparing them to the Hylian Shield and the Master Sword. So the right Joy-Con kind of has that, I guess, like a noble purple style color, kind of what the Master Sword is associated with. That box art's out there. It's going to be available at all retailers. Skyward Sword HD comes out July 16th. And then our last game, and we're finally done with this damn Nintendo Direct, an hour into the show. They teased. Cesar, what'd you call it specifically? We were texting.
Splatoon Mad Max.
Splatoon Mad Max. And I thought it had a Borderlands vibe, so I sent Splatlands. It looked like Borderlands.
And then I remember they got on the bus, and I was like, man, this reminds me of the NYC subway. Don't hate me, everybody.
Subways.
And then we went into that mass city that looks like a.
It was like stacks from Ready Player One, right? It was just like all these high rises.
Yeah, let's go with that. I always want to say like it's another nation that usually has those type of cities where they they only conserve in space, but Stacks works too from the Ready Player One. Yep. So I don't want to sit there and insulting anybody that I don't know anything about. So
and that game, of course, I'm showing it on video for our audio listeners. Splatoon 3 with its very phallic 3 symbol that it decided on at the very end.
Splatoon Trace.
And they just said, "Stay tuned for more updates." Because
well done, Brant.
Game's not coming till 2022.
Not coming to the year with 3 2s in it. We gotta wait till
if we make it that far. So I'm wondering what they're gonna add to this because it seemed like Splatoon 2 had kind of settled into a games as a service type title. We had pretty regular Splatfest and updates and things like that. I mean, I know I fell off this game pretty hard, but. It still has a pretty heavy following. I guess the research was there to justify the trace, as Cesar puts it. Anybody excited about Splatoon 3? It might not be the three of us. Somebody.
It's one of those ones that I'll probably end up buying because it's at the time I know a lot of people play and it's probably a lot of fun. And I'll probably maybe I put like 20 hours in the Splatoon 2. I think my copy of Splatoon 1 is still sealed.
Russell bought a Wii U for Splatoon. That was his killer app.
Yeah, there was definitely a moment in time where Splatoon, the original Splatoon, was it for me.
I played a shit ton of that game.
Yeah, I'd play the shit out of it. And then Splatoon 2, and I downloaded the demo, and I don't know. It didn't feel the same to me. I don't know. It fell
Something
off.
was off
really quick.
And I was excited about what they called it, Salmon Run, the Horde mode.
Yeah.
So me, Cesar, Russell, was Michael playing that with us? Was he our fourth player?
Cesar? Possibly.
We tried that 4-player thing. We could never beat like the first round. It was like, fuck this game. It just wasn't fun. And that was specifically the Horde run, but Splatoon they've got a formula there, and it works.
I mean, when it works, it works. We'll see what happens, man. I mean, at this point, I don't know, that whole when the Switch came out, man, we were already hitting that golden age with the Xbox One and PS4 games wise. So, like, this is kind of like all their games are kind of hitting their peak right now for Switch when we have the Xbox and PS5 coming out now, where there's not too much to get excited for, or when we do, it's like games that comes out like 6 months or a year later. Right. So I mean, it's a good time for them right now. So I mean, they're going to carry all that excitement,
and it'll be something for them to talk to. They always seem to keep, they're good at these announcements. Like, we're getting Zelda in 4 months, we're getting this in 2 months, we're getting this next month. This is available now. Try the demo now. It's coming out in 2 years. Here's a game to look forward to in a year. Here's a game we're working on at the end of this year. They're pretty good at drumming up that long tier. Like, you can see Splatoon 2 or 3. Splatoon 3 being there, something that they have developer updates, and they always seem to have that title that they're releasing stuff on, and it seems like it's going to take the mantle after we start seeing more Breath of the Wild 2 stuff.
Yeah, because I think at some point after Mario's done in March, I mean, we'll get another Direct, and they'll probably go more into Zelda's anniversary, and then hopefully we'll get a Direct at some point, and that goes into Metroid's anniversary. So, but I imagine if we get a Metro one's gonna be like way at the end of the year. So
yeah,
or next year.
Because it's gonna be closer to when they're coming out with Prime 4, which that thing's just starting to take off since last year. I think they were hiring up for it.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're not maybe even a year into it, probably development wise.
Again, we're not doing NPD numbers like we were, but they're not having trouble selling these Switch consoles still. And they just came out with a Mario game this past week, so you know where that's going to be in this month's NPD. So it's gonna go crazy. I know 3 copies sold here. I think I won't mention that on air. We'll wait on that one. But I don't think they're not going to have a problem with Switches or Mario games in the foreseeable couple months. Well, until they pull whatchamacallit from the shelves. When 3D All-Stars gets yanked.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have 1 extra copy from that. Oh, shit, they're not going to make these. But I still see them available everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, we don't talk about this much, but I mean, I know you probably saw it too, Richard. Somebody was leaking out that Nintendo Direct on Reddit.
Yep.
And I think he talked about some point that they were talking about Mario Galaxy 2, because he said Mario Galaxy 2 was not going to be on this Direct, but he said that was something that we were going to see in the future. So that was one of his things. But everything else he hit on was right. So, because somebody had asked him about Mario Galaxy 2, but he made a comment in there. It was not going to be on this one, but apparently it's something that they're working on. So
it's coming. Oh, I thought I saw a last minute update on Metroid Prime 4, but it was just a troll.
Yeah, in development.
Yep, in development now. From Daniel Ahmad.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't think. I mean, we didn't see any Bayonetta 3. We've been warned just kind of forget everything about it, and
they'll say something when they have something to say.
But it's like, I mean, everything's up. What they announced was up to June, mostly summer.
God, this
will probably hold us off.
So many games. They talked about so many games.
A lot.
It's not that bad. I mean, none of them, not a lot. I mean, not a lot of them were coming out in March or April. Good bits coming out in May, June.
I text Russell.
We got a couple months.
I text Russell. I was like, "Holy shit, so many games! I'm just over here trying to beat Metroid Prime from 2002." Oh, it's not a bad problem to have, gentlemen. Oh, Nintendo of America made Splatoon 3 their official logo, so you know that's going to be their focus for a while.
Yeah.
Jason Schreier, this is a basketball reference for Cesar. Jason Schreier said, when there's finally a game called Project Triangle Strategy and it's Phil Jackson, he's just smiling. That's pretty good. That's a pretty...
because he went to the Knicks trying to do that fucking triangle.
That's pretty good, man.
That shit he ran in Chicago Bulls and the shit he ran in the Lakers. He's like, no, the triangle offense is what we need in the Knicks, and you saw what happened. It was like 4 years of just bullshit. Don't get me started on that.
I know.
Stuff.
Look at the players he had with the Lakers and with the Bulls. It's like you had like generational talent with both of those.
I mean, they sat there and they got him Harry Stoudemire from
you okay?
Phoenix and paid him all that money.
Brent, you gonna make it? All right, we're gonna thumbs up.
I'm good.
We were worried about him.
Yeah, I thought you were stuffing onions in your nose or something like that. I was like, what's happening?
No.
In your nose. All All right, is that it for games played? Is that it for games played?
That's it. We're done.
We're out of here.
We are no longer
1
live.
hour and 9 minutes. Sayonara. That is your news and games played. If you didn't hear games played, you weren't paying attention. You should start listening to this podcast a little more closely.
You weren't paying attention, then you're fired.
You're fired. We can't afford to fire anybody. We can't afford to hire anybody or fire anybody.
I'll upgrade you to listener.
Oh shit, that is not an upgrade. Ask Brant, he got downgraded. Well, he may be looking to upgrade back. Oh shit. We need to stop having listener feedback and start having host feedback. How do you feel about being part of the NOFODcast? Would you rate your experience with NOFODcast 1?
I'm waiting for you to fucking do one of those damn with those monkey surveys and send it to us. Like, who's bitching about this shit? I know it's one of y'all two. I was like, man, that's supposed to be anonymous, but he's like, there's only 2 of y'all fuckers. So I mean, yes.
How likely are you to recommend NOFODcast to one of your co-hosts? 1.
0.
Not likely. 10. Extremely likely.
I'm tearing up that comment section. Fuck that guy. I'm like,
survey. This is anonymous. I might be able to figure out which one of you fuckers answered this.
Doesn't work when there's 3 of us.
It doesn't.
unless I'm preempting.
The last question.
Like, fuck Cesar, and put down there, fuck Cesar, he's a bitch. And be like, that'll throw the sin off
that
me.
One says that. The other one says
the
that
last
bitch Brant. And I know who sent what.
Then we'll get it back, and it says fuck Cesar and all 3 of them. But like, you fuckers, I know what happened here.
The last question is just put the first initial of your first name.
Yeah, that'll throw off the Sarah.
RBC, or the Royal Bank of Canada.
I'm putting that shit on there as well. That way, Richard's like, I didn't take the survey twice. Figure out as me. Brant follows the rules. We got to put all in the Richard Berman initials on there and all.
Or I'm starting to second guess like what questions I actually made. Who came up with this? I'm turning on myself.
that was a way not a waste of time. That's what you'll say when you look at it.
Sure. We can really take this feedback and do something with it. It's good data. Oh, it's our second Canada reference of the day. All right, we want to go into games played at this point.
Yeah,
let's do it.
All right, we're all going to talk Mario at some point. I think we all have different perspectives on Los Marios. What did I play? I've gotten some Halo in. I've gotten Lunch Skits in, as we affectionately refer to as our... we still play Action Sack, and we sometimes get Muskets. Hey, turns out it's better to play at lunchtime throughout the week than it is in the weekend. We do pretty well through the week. We've only lost... We're probably about 12-2. I think we've lost 2 rounds total in 3 days across Lunch Skits. So the competition during the day, I don't know if it's just people dabbling. It's not our normal suite of individuals that we end up having to face off against. On the Xbox kick still, I started up Crimson Skies, the flying game. That was kind of one of the first showcases for Xbox Live. Playing on a CRT, of course. I only did the first mission, but it's kind of like an Indiana Jones-esque steampunk flying game. The controls are really, really good. 60 frames per second. Graphics look great on a CRT. Controls well. Real arcadey style flyer. Don't think Wings 2, the Super Nintendo classic. Think Stop Cesar. What would it be compared to? Think of more of a Rogue Squadron, but with a Indiana Jones / Zeppelins and biplanes, that sort of twist on stuff, but still with homing missiles. It's sort of an alternate, like post World War One Rocketeer almost flair, if you remember the.
Oh, I was waiting. I wanted.
You wanted me to say Rocketeer? Yeah. I was honing in on it.
I was sitting there like, come on, fucking Rocketeer. Or I heard from some circles it kind of plays like Wings 2 from Super Nintendo. So.
only the hardcore flight sim fans.
Oh, there's some Redditors out there, man. They're like, yeah, man, let's start this conversation. It's like 4 people.
You knew it was leading to Rocketeer. You were like, I heard Wings 2. I heard Timothy Dalton. I heard Zeppelins. I heard Steampunk. I knew it was going to Rocketeer.
What was his name? Was it Sinclair? What was his first name?
Neville Sinclair.
Neville Sinclair, yeah.
God, that was a good ass.
I watched that movie so many fucking times.
It's so good. Brant.
Jennifer Connelly.
She's amazing. Brant, please tell me you've seen The Rocketeer. Oh no!
Got to now.
If you have Disney Plus, then you can watch it on there for free. It's
good. Brant, it's on Disney Plus.
It is. It's a Disney product.
All right. I have to try and watch it this weekend.
It's so good. Oh god, it's so good.
I used to play the shit out of the NES game. It was made by Bandai. That was like one of the only games I had.
Trash.
I played the shit out of that. Leave it alone.
You have to.
Let me have it.
You have to.
I played the sequel and it was called RoboCop. It played exactly like the same thing, just with different another IP.
Hey, my game like that is Toy Story for Game Boy because I asked for it and that's what I got for Christmas. Woody would jump in like 3 frames per second and throw his like lasso thing as a whip.
Did he say he had a snake in his boots and like 8-bit?
No, not even that good. God, that game was so slow.
I played the Mega Drive version of that one. I think that was the one I played.
My grandmother ordered it from Penny's. I circled it in the catalog because it was one of the few Game Boy games. Vivid memories. I love that game. You know how you have those games in your past that are just glued.
Yeah. You told us about Wings too. We already know, man.
Oh yeah, that's up there. My grandma didn't buy me that one. I fucked around and bought that one.
That's even worse. Like me and Balls and Rise of the Robot. I'm still pissed at Rise of the Robots.
Hard-earned money. Let's see, Christmas Guys. I just played the opening mission on that one. I didn't get too far into it. I think the kids took the Xbox at that point and continued their Shrek adventures. I don't think they made it much further. They're still figuring out the save menus.
All the scriptures of Shrek.
Scriptures of Shrek. Is that it? Halo? Nothing on PS5. I ran some PS5 updates. I meant to play that Maiden demo and something came up, but that's still on my list.
I have still not played it. I'll just wait till 8 comes out, I guess.
That's come on, guys.
It's only like 30 minutes.
It takes like...
I put 14 out. I put 14 hours in Resident Evil 7, but for whatever reason, I'm going to put 5 minutes in Maiden, so just let me have my thing.
How long is it?
Maiden takes no time at all.
It's pretty short.
It takes no time at all. Yeah. I mean, I think it was my like second or third time running through it. I mean, it took me 10, 15 minutes, something like that. I mean, your first time, it's probably going to take you 25, 30, maybe 30 minutes. If you're like, because I know the third time playing around, I'm, at this point, I'm like, I know where shit is and I'm running around because there's stuff like, you hear footsteps in different parts of the game and stuff. And like, I didn't even know it was an actual person. I'm like, oh, I just thought that was like auto generate. And like, oh, if I run over here fast enough, you can actually run into this person. And then, so there's all sorts of cool stuff, especially if you play it over and over.
I really just wanted to see the sexy vampire lady. That's my main goal. That's
all our goals. I mean,
basically. That's all my games played until we loop back around to Super Mario 3D World, which I'll share with y'all when we get there.
Yeah, all right. I'll go through mine real quick. It's a short week. I think I played some Control. I'm still going through that Alan Wake DLC.
Is it good? Still holding up?
It's still holding up. It's still fucking. It's still fucking Mr. Scratch in there. I'm like, great. He's in here. He's fucking around, and that's what he looks like. He looks like a Mr. Slenderman. So he's just walking around like he's stretched out all over the place, and you have to use a fucking light to fight him. I think there was one bit where I was in a Altered World event area where they try to recreate him. I have to turn on light, and I'm like, I'm sitting there. As soon as I hit the light switch, it kills and it moves the light to the other place of the on the level, and that fucker's right in front of me immediately. I'm like, holy shit! It's just me screaming out loud because he's right in front of me. I'm just trying to get away from him before he destroys me. Outside of that, I'm like halfway through it. I didn't realize this, but I haven't turned it on. But I noticed somebody on Twitter was saying that they were having a hard time going through the game. So if you go into accessibilities, you can turn on invisibility and you can do one-hit kills. So if you just wanted to go through the story, you can totally not get destroyed and just kill everybody in one hit just to go through the story.
Can you do that
is an option. You can do it any time you want. Yeah, it doesn't affect anything. Doesn't affect trophies or anything like that. So it takes I don't do it because it takes all the fun because I enjoy the battles. But if it's something like you're digging the story and you're like, I just want to see where this is going, you can turn that on and just go.
I heard the combat is great, so it may not be we're not you have to play it the way it was meant to be played. It's got to be on hard mode, but if that's a good accessibility choice for you, then definitely go through it. Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you don't want to go through that, I mean, there's some games that not everybody's going to get, and there's some games that you don't have patience for. But if you do enjoy that story, it's an option, and you can go through it. So, the story's good. I love the story. Story's great. I love the gameplay more, but that's just me personally. But you have to get into a groove for it. and get into a rhythm for it. And there's some points where it does get bullshit, but most of those ones that are bullshit are like the DLC ones where I'm going through. Like there's a jukebox in there. I didn't talk about this last time. There's like a jukebox area where you put in a coin that you get from farming that you kill enemies, and it's like fucking Inception, where remember Inception when before they do the kick, they start playing music to let you know. So in this jukebox, it starts playing music to let you know it's taking you to this area, and then you have a time limit. And before the time limit's up, it starts playing that music to let you know it's going to take you out. So I was like, oh, great. And I'm like, so once you start hearing the music going, you're like, oh, I got to finish up what the fuck I'm doing real quick because it's about to take me out.
That's a good cue. I love design elements like that.
Yeah. I kind of get the feeling that's the inspiration they had was that, because it's like that song they have on there playing to let you know the kick's coming. Yeah, it was like an old style music, like 50s, like kind of like what they were playing out there. Like you hear the music when Inception, they're like, yeah, I hear the music's coming soon. But yeah, and that whole DLC thing, that's a bitch. I doubt a lot because what they expect you to do is there's 3 different access areas where you have to basically survive, where they throw as many enemies as you can. That you have to complete some kind of task on there, and each task is like it could be like Slayer, where you have to capture a point and hold it until you change the color and then move on to the next point. But it's like nonstop enemies coming at your ass, so you have to really, really, really go combat. There's another one you have to collect audio logs, and sometimes you have to sit there and hold the button to get the audio log. It takes forever. But yeah, I've been fucking around doing a couple of those DLC things. I'm almost done with the game. I'll probably platinum it real soon. I think all I have left is to get all the abilities, and I'm done. And once I finish the DLC story, I'm halfway done with Alan Wake. Outside of that, the only other game I've been playing a lot is I've been playing a lot of Ys 8. Since Ys 9 came out, I went ahead and said, well, let me go and finish Ys 8. I did that whole bit where we had Gandalf from Lord of the Rings, where I fired it up, and I'm like 15 hours in, and I do not recall any of this shit. I was like, I don't remember any of this or what's going on.
Dana.
So it is Dana. So outside of that, I did the brave and arduous task of restarting the game and ignoring the 15 hours I put in there previously. And I'm like 30 hours into it, so I finally caught back up to the point where I was at.
Erased that time
and gone through that. Yeah. Got to that story. I think it was a drag for me into that point because I was enjoying it the first time I went through, and I mentioned on this podcast 4 years back because I think I played in 2017.
Have we
what
been
I didn't
on air
realize
that
was
long?
that I've talked about it before. I think I talked about the Switch version.
Yeah, you might have picked up a different version.
Yeah. But look, it was talked about. It was from my lips. It was.
I'm just thinking, God, we've been doing this forever.
It's close. Nobody's doing the math, man. All right. You're the only one doing the math. Nobody's going to like this fucker and going back and look at the 100 episodes like, bitch, look at this shit. No, but outside of that, I mean, the gameplay. This is from Nihon Falcon. The gameplay is an action RPG. This is from Ys. The series has been out for about 20-something years, probably now. This came out originally when the PC Engine was the first one. Maybe another computer-based one in Japan. With Ys 1 and 2. This is the 8th iteration. I could go into details about where this falls in the canon. I didn't realize there was a canon to this. I just thought these were separate adventures with the same protagonist. But apparently, as I went through there, they do callbacks to the other games, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And then I actually went in online and started looking at it. There is an actual order to follow these games to kind of follow the story.
I'm about to say it's all Christian Nadal, right?
Right, but it's all over the fucking place. So I pulled it up, and I think like the first game is like Ys 1 and 2, and then it goes into like Ys 4, and then Ys 4 is the next one. Ys Origin is the first one, and then Ys 1 and 2, then Ys 4, and then it goes to Ys 3. I'm not sure why 3 comes after 4. Then it's Ys 5, and then you go to Ys 8, and then Ys 6, and Ys 7, and Ys 9. So that's the particular chronological order, even though they don't follow it numerically for whatever reason. So apparently the whole basis of this game is you play as Adol, who was born on, I guess, their version of AD, 0 AD, as the change come over from the timeline. And apparently you already know when he dies. He dies at 63 AD. So these games take place at certain aspects of his life. So I think Ys 1 is when he's like 18. And then it goes up to like 19, 20, 21. I think he's the oldest right now. Ys 9, I think he's like 26 or something like that. So you're like halfway through whatever the saga is supposed to be. Apparently he dies when he's 63, exploring in the North Pole. The whole world on here is like a allegory to what our world is. It has Europe, it has Greece, it has Roman, the Roman Empire, which is spelled with a U instead of an A. Africa, which is spelled with the O instead of I, but it's similar to our world.
Okay.
There's still Greece. I think he's from an area near Greece. So that basically, I'm not going to go into details about it because I haven't played all the other E's before. I dabbled in them before because I played E's 4 and I played E's 1 and 2 here and there, but I haven't like to completion. I'm almost done with the game. I'm like towards the end. Basically, you are on a ship sailing back home from one of his adventures, which I think was E's 5, which is the game we didn't get in America. That's the only one we haven't gotten.
What did that come out on?
That came out on Super Nintendo, and then they came out with a remaster on PS2. We just never got a translation over here for it, for whatever reason. I guess the PS2 one would have been the one we got. We could have gotten. We only got E6, which was that Age of Nepotism for PS2, yep. And then PSP. Arc of Nepotism, excuse me, Age. So basically, he's coming home from that last adventure, and they get attacked by this giant octopus, and they are marooned on this Isle Saren. They are not able to leave the island because it's this giant octopus, which they call like the Oceanus, which they found out the name later on, is kind of like their version of a dinosaur. They call it a premortal or Sarian. That's what they called it in the past. That's keeping them on the island. It's like a giant squid, dinosaur-based squid. So they're marooned on this island, and you're basically tasked for rescuing castaways, and which I think there's 24 in total, and trying to build a ship to get off this island. The way that Ease works is that as an action RPG, as you run around, you are mapping this area, which it gives you a percentage of how much of the map is completed, and you get an overall world, the location you're at, and it keeps track of all the plants, vegetation, treasures you find there, and sometimes enemies. So the whole stick is that you go through and you complete quests at certain different aspects of those area maps, depending on the time you need it. So they want you to collect like a cartographer. You have to build up the map and build up the area. That's part of one of your goals in there. And like I said, the battle system's an action RPG, which they map a jump button, an attack, and then a heavy attack, basically, or a special attack. Outside of that, though, or a special move, what they call it on there. And then this is still one of the few games where they ended up introducing different characters. So you don't play only as Otto. You have a team of 6 people total, 2 for each character type, which is you have one that's a balanced character. You have one that's they call a Pierce, which is like a light character that's for speed. And you have a heavy character, which is more of a attack-based character. And then you get 1 for each category as you go through the game, as you experience and say these castaways. As you go through the story, you get pulled into this island, which is no longer populated. Used to be populated. And Adol's having these strange dreams that involve Dana, where she lived a previous life hundreds of years before then, where she used to live with these primordials, and they used to live in harmony together, basically. And as you go through the game, you try to figure out a way off the island. You end up running into these characters, and you end up running into the mystery of why this island no longer becomes inhabited. So you kind of unroll that as you go through. That's kind of like the over arc on there. But cool. The music on there is great. It's like that Niham Falcom games where they always have that guitar blasting riffs in there. Graphically, it plays like in between a PS2 and a Dreamcast game. It has an aesthetic. It's not something you see very often. It looks pretty good. The colors are vivid. The voice acting is done very well. Like I said, it has a good story. This is probably one of the better easy games. This is probably a good one to get into. A lot of the other ones have an age as well. So, like I said, I probably got another hour before I get off the island, hour or two. I'm almost at the very end of the game before I start Ease 9. So we'll see. Yeah, that's pretty much everything in that game I can think of. Outside of that, as you go, before I forget, you have to do quests for it's a balanced game. You have to do quests for the castaways in there. Like they're like, find this, find that, bring them in there. You don't have to do them, but based off all the stuff that the castaways, the people you rescue, the quests you completed, the enemies you find, the map you draw out, they give you points. So if you get up to 190 points, I think then you get the true ending. So there's 3 endings. There's a bad ending, a normal ending, and then a true ending. And from what I've read, that the normal ending is very vague on what happens to the characters. So they said they tell people to get the true ending.
Gotcha. And that's why completing quests and turning stuff in or filling out that biology index or whatever it was.
Basically, yeah. You get points for like everything you do in there, and it adds up. I think I'm at 150 points right now, so I need like 50 more. I think this game originally came out on Vita first, because you only need 150 points for the Vita version. Then it came out for PS4 and then the Switch a year later. The difference between the versions is that the PS4 one and the Switch ones are expanded. They go more into details about the background for Dana and like the motivations of the history of the people on the island. So there's like an extra dungeon you play with her that goes into more of the lore that island kind of builds upon, and that was not present in the Vita version.
Gotcha.
This is also on PC
like the
as well.
It's more fleshed out.
Yeah, I think they took some criticism they have from the original game. I think a lot of people like Dana, but didn't have enough story to like expand her character, and I guess they addressed that in these versions. So, yeah. So outside of that, I think that is everything I played this week outside of the game that we all probably played together.
The Mario 3D World we're dancing around.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and take up any more of our time. I can't think of anything else. I'm sure I will, but it is what it is. But that's mostly what I've been playing this week. How about you, Brant?
Well, I popped in Infamous Second Son again to try and get those last few trophies.
Another Infamous update.
And there's one trophy I just for some reason can't get to pop, and I keep doing the thing, and it's just I don't know what's not. I don't know. It shouldn't be, but the I noticed the second to last one that I have to do is beat the game on like expert mode. I'm like, well, I'm probably gonna have to do that at another point. So, because that's literally it. It's expert mode. One other achievement it should be very easy, but for some reason it's just not popping. And then the platinum itself. So
I've done that before, where I've had to go back and beat it in hard mode sometimes. If I'll just like, I'll eventually want to play it again and experience the game again. I'll just do it then. So
yeah. And then of course, other than that, the really the only game I got really got to play was Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. I sat down with the family. I think we got to World, the third world, I believe, the desert.
Desert's the second one because we just got there. We just beat the first one, the first world today.
Third is ice.
That sounds
right.
Yeah,
we got to the ice.
The
started
hitting
bullshit. Yeah, we started encountering a couple bullshit levels in the ice.
So Brant, you're playing with 3 people?
Yeah. 3 people total.
How's it with 3 people managing this managing the screen?
It's honestly it's not that bad. I remember being able to control when you did that little bubble thing.
Yep.
For the life of me, I can't remember how to do it now. It just either happens or it doesn't happen.
I couldn't pull it off
if you go off screen. Yep. Yeah, if you go off screen too far, you'll automatically just bubble and go to it. But if you're falling, you can't. At least not that I could figure out. You can't automatically bubble and save yourself.
I couldn't do it either.
You're dead.
That was a way of saving my ass back in the day playing the first one.
Yep. Same deal. And I could never figure it out.
And I only end up in the bubble now if my kids start running it way ahead of us instead of collecting the stars and stuff. Like when we first started playing, I was like, let's just beat the levels. Let's all play together, have a good time, because it's me and the missus and a 5 and a now 7-year-old. So the 7-year-old, she opened it for her birthday today. So this is the Cat Mario game, as we refer to it. They've been playing it on Wii U, but now we're all playing it on Switch. I was like, we're going to do this. This is a family bonding experience. Grab your controller, sit your ass down. We're going to play some damn Mario. But they're all getting into it. And like you were saying with the bubble thing, I haven't figured it out either, because I'll be getting left behind. It's like, okay, I don't want to lose this cat suit. You know, am I just is it gonna beam me forward, or can I hit something real quick and just go ahead and, or if I'm about to fly off the side because somebody moved my jump. But
it quickly becomes infuriating. Like if you're running and then you lose your power up and you go to your reserves to use one of the power-ups that's loaded in your stocks, and then one of your other players runs in front of you and just grabs it
immediately.
You're like, you son of a bitch.
That's a cool element. Was the hoarding of the items, was that on Wii U where you could store them like that? I don't remember that bit.
I think it might have been, and that you could like tap from the gamepad or something. I want to say it was
probably
in there,
why I never
but
saw
it's been.
The only one that's fired up a Wii U recently. I mean, I'm looking at it like squidding. Like, when was the last time I fired up 3D World on that thing? I'm like,
on that note, we've played this game recently, but I think it was one of those that got a patch that screened that dock. I can't even remember what you call it, gamepad. It got rid of the gamepad, so we literally fire up Mario 3D World on Wii U, or we did until we have the new Cat Mario game, and we would just leave the pad off to the side, and they would play with Pro controllers. But you can like store an item and hit the up arrow, and it'll pop out whatever you had, like a mushroom or a cat suit or whatever. Do y'all call it the cat suit? Is that like common?
Yeah, I guess.
I just called it a gato suit.
Gato suit. Suto de gato. Gato Eravo. What is the term from earlier in this episode? Erato?
Aerogay.
Aerogay.
Aerogay, yeah, Aerogay.
Aerogay gato.
Yeah, no.
Hey man, I'm about that Arage life. I'm just forced into it, man. It is what it is.
Game is good, man. With the four of us, it's a little chaotic, but like we beat that first Mario boss, the first Bowser boss, where he's on the car, like going away from you, and you got to kick the soccer balls at him, and we deflected. I would line up this perfect shot, and then you would just see this cat like just careen it off to the side, like left or right, and I'm like, no, it was headed to Bowser. But it was never like we're not getting frustrated or yelling at anybody. It's just like, no, why did this happen?
No,
it's
I do that shit when I'm by myself. So I'm like, it's bullshit. I'm finally to the point of the game with just one person. I'm at the bullshit point now. So.
Is it fun single player?
Mm-hmm.
Is it fun single player?
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's pretty easy. I mean, I imagine it'd be fun doing multiplayer. Because I think at the fourth level is when you start hitting the difficulty wall. Like, now they're starting to put bullshit aspects in there where I'm like...
It's got online.
Wait, what?
It's got online multiplayer.
We could hit it up. I saw that, but I didn't know how deep the online multiplayer was. I figured it'd be some awesome.
I'm having a hard time just doing fucking single player. I mean, you want me to play online with other people, man? I got to the point... I got to the point where I got the 3 Marios and I died 3 times, separate times. And I'm like, great, that's a thing. So I'm like...
It cost you 3 lives?
Oh, yeah. I'll fucking
cherries.
send it. Yeah, I'll fucking send it to you.
It's like dying on Donkey Kong
Country.
But what I was getting at with the stars, like I thought the stars were just an extra thing, like maybe they would unlock something at the end. But we got to that first castle and we only had 9 of the green stars instead of the 10 that are required, and it's like, no, we gotta play another level. Yeah. And we all laughed at the Plessy, where you jump on Plessy's back and you all have to help steer. Yeah. We all laughed so hard at that. Like, half the family's like, I'm like, family, focus, get Plessy to the finish line. And half of them are like, let's go left, let's go right. And then you just see the characters like pulling on Plessy's back, like trying to figure out which way to go. Oh man, we were laughing so hard. We had a really, really good time with it.
Yeah, we struggle with that too, like hopping on and they're like, you just do it, and I'm sitting there trying to steer. I'm like, he won't steer, and then I'm like,
you have to help.
Like, I think all of you have to help, and then we finally got it down.
Because those bullshit, like to get the stamp on that level, to do that really hard left, you have to have everybody like all of a sudden pull into that left side. Because I've tried that 2-player and we couldn't pull it off. It's like it needs it for some reason.
The only thing with multiplayer is when you're holding down your button to run. If you get close to one of the other players, you just pick them up, and so you wind up sometimes throwing the other player and costing them their power up, or throwing them off a ledge, or
Daddy, sorry. Daddy, sorry. It's okay. We're all here together. It's fine.
Yeah. I'm like, why did they do that? That's like the only thing that I don't necessarily like, being able to pick up one of the other players and just like throw, and just by running into him while you're sprinting.
Almost like it should be an extra button press or something like that. Brant, how are you guys playing? Do you all have pro controllers?
They're using
broke off.
Yeah, they're using 2 different full sets of Joy-Cons. I have a pro controller.
Okay. We have 2 pro controllers, and then the little ones are using the Joy-Con. It's like the perfect size for them. So they sync them, and then they go off of those. We have to tell them every once in a while, like, stop, don't run ahead, wait up for so-and-so, let them catch up, that kind of thing. But it's more of trying to teach, like, I guess this is This is a teaching game for all of us. Like, let's all be patient. The missus can be pushy with her gaming taste sometimes too. Like, let's go. It's like, no, we gotta wait, or let's try to find this star. If we see it, we may get to that castle and we need 10 more stars or something. Let's stop right now while we see this one and at least try to go get it and see if we can. That'll give us another star for later on in case we need it. But everybody's, of course, the cat suit is the major hit. We got the Peach amiibo in the cat suit. She's like meowing at the thing. I don't know if that's a new one or not.
It
is that a
is.
new amiibo? Okay.
You had the Mario and the Peach ones were the ones that came out for this game.
Gotcha. We got the Peach one off of Amazon. It came in, so that was part of her birthday thing, and it's Cat Mario is a hit, man. It's a pretty good ass game. I want to get through it this time. Like we've started it so many times, but now I'm making this our game, all the four of us. This is our bonding experience. We will have this. Daddy will have this, please.
So every time you see Cat Mario, I always want to go to Cat Dog, and I got that Cat Dog thing playing in my head.
Cat Mario. Has anybody played the Bowser's Fury side of it? Have y'all tried that out?
I have.
Okay. Brant, I do want to hear about that because we didn't play that at all.
Yeah, because we got to the ice level and we did a couple stages, and then my son he wanted to try Bowser's Fury.
Yeah,
and we did a little bit of that. With 2-player, it's a little odd because you're of course the second player is going to be Bowser Jr. and they get to help. They can go and they can collect coins. They can collect
star bits.
Yeah, basically what equates to like star bits.
I love how Star Bits is still living in 2021.
They came out with a game that had star bits in it in 2020, but and they're pulling it off the shelves in 2021.
But it's the camera and style of this game is very similar to Odyssey. So it's free camera. You can run around, kind of do the same moves that Mario has in 3D World, and you've got all the power-ups as well. And like everything's cat themed. Absolutely everything is cat themed. There's little bushes. There's
they'll dig that.
Squirrels. There's tiny little cats. There's seagulls that have little cat ear. Like everything is cat themed. It's crazy.
Cat Mario.
And it seems like you start off. Bowser Jr. says he's trying to help Bowser because he's gone really mad, and he's just super mad, and he can't calm him down. He's just too mad this time. He needs your help. He wouldn't ask you if it wasn't serious. And
Bowser's
then
Fury.
And so you go through, you start on this nice, cutesy, sunny little area, and you can see like this big circle of just like this darkness, goopy kind of stuff, and that big Bowser shell spinning. And so you start trekking through, you get in your little cat shines and stuff. And I haven't figured out exactly how it's timed, but as you keep going, it'll get darker and darker. Eventually, it'll get to the point where he pops up, and I mean, there's like little blocks that only Bowser can break when he appears. He's dropping stuff from the sky, raining down fire, all this stuff, until you kind of run out that time, or you've collected enough shines.
Does it say shine when you get a shine?
Shine it? No. No. It's
the most important thing I had to add to that.
Catch. I don't. Oh gosh, I can't
shine,
even
yeah.
But if you can shine with the lighthouse, or if you get enough, you can activate that giant bell, which we did once. Because you go
Super
through
Saiyan Mario.
Yeah, you go through, and I think you have to collect like, gosh, I want to say it's like 5 or something like that. It's not a very high number. The first time you can go and activate that bell with the cat shrine, the giant cat bell starts ringing, and then you just turn into the giant golden like god Cat Mario, and you just go and pounce.
Looks like the cowardly lion from Wizard of Oz.
Mm-hmm.
Do you whoop his ass when you're in that mode?
Oh yeah. But it basically just opens up a whole nother section. But it is what's crazy is if this is what they're shooting for, the next Mario game, it's going to be extremely like revolutionary because with when you think about it, there's still like a main menu, even in Odyssey, you're on the map, you're picking which area you're going to. But imagine if you're in a Mario game and you just want to go to a level and then just bam, you go there. And that's basically what this is. You start off on this little island, and no matter what direction you're going to go in, you're going to walk, and then all of a sudden you're in an area, and the area will pop up on the screen. It'll tell you where you're at. And here I am. I'm like, oh, I see a little shine piece over here. Let me go get that. And I hop in the water and swim over real quick. And then all of a sudden I jump on that beach and boom, I'm in another area. I'm like, I left that other area. It's right here. It's in the same thing, but no. And I mean, I haven't gotten super far into it. I know it's not a long experience, right, but it's something I'm definitely looking forward to because I've seen like there's ice level and all these other themes like there normally is, but it just the theming and the style and what they're going with, we're enjoying it a lot so far.
You would take more from that template.
Oh
in
yeah,
a future Mario game.
Oh yeah, try it out whenever you get a second, for sure.
Is it as challenging as Super Mario 3D World? Is it along the same difficulties? Like, is this something for me and the missus potentially, or is it playable for the youngsters?
With the help of a Bowser Jr., I think it's honestly like just the right amount. It's not going to be super super hard, but it's not, ground level entry easy either. Right. But I think it would be something that you could even hand off to the kids and they could still play it for a little bit and still have fun.
Cool. I might let them start it off and then we see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Yep. There's our thoughts on Mario 3D World. Go get it. Great game. The Wii U's day draws closer to
completion.
Maybe. I don't know. They still have Virtual Console. I think Virtual Console needs to be considered too. Yeah. I got some good ass games on there. It's basically a dedicated Zelda box.
Yeah, until we hopefully get some other Zelda games.
Yeah, what's the only one you can't play on there? Hyrule Warriors 2 and like one of the Game Boy games maybe? Or one of the DS games? No, both of the DS games are on there. Anyways, anybody got anything else? We're closing in on 2 hours somehow. How did this happen?
The Spirit of Trains.
Lots of news.
Forget that one.
Yep. Oh, is that it? Is that the one that's not on there?
No, it's on there. That's the DS one. I just everybody at my job gives it a hell. It's like, yeah, and whatever the Spirit of Trains is.
Spirit of Trains sucks ass.
That's the one Zelda that everybody makes fun of apparently at my job.
Yeah, the Hourglass of Phantom sucks butthole too. I'll die on that hill.
I'll fight you on that hill. So
disappointed.
Don't you dare make fun of my Wind Waker.
I enjoyed those games. I actually somewhat enjoyed those games. They were gimmicky as hell. They were gimmicky as hell for the DS, but I actually enjoyed them for what they were.
That was a sequel to Wind Waker, motherfucker. Don't you dare. You keep those naughty words out your mouth.
Hope everyone enjoyed Cesar and Brant's last appearances on the NOFODcast. We'll have 2 new voices with coherent thoughts on next week's episode.
Amen.
And a replacement for me then, too. I said coherent thoughts.
All I heard is I got next week off. That's what I heard. I'm like, That's the first thing that popped in my head. I was like, all right, cool.
You think it's a 1-week ban? You just get a red card?
I take it a week at a time, man. I take it a week at a time. We no longer need your services permanently. I'll be like, well, I got the rest of my Wednesdays back.
I'm good from here on out.
Then I'll fire up the game console and play games.
No 2-hour recording when we said it'd be like an hour, maybe. All right, you guys got anything else to add before we get out of here?
Negative.
Thank you all for joining us this week, and we will catch you next week. Bye.
See you.
Cesar?
Adios.
There we go.
I was waiting for a dramatic pause and effect. Hopefully this is being recorded too.
We had to have it. You were visual only sign off last week. We had to have actual sign off this week.
Proof of life, man. Fuck that shit.
He's here in the flesh.
But in whose flesh?
That was pretty good.